So we have done while loops. Now let's talk about another type of loops, which is the for loops. For loops are more common than while loops. Demonstration with minimum explanation. Alright, this is a for loop. This does the same thing as this, but it is written in a different way. I would suggest you pay more attention to for loops because most of the time you will be using for loops more often than while loops. Let's read this the way the meta editor will have read it. Alright, let's look at the for loop to see how it works. Essentially, we are saying we want to have a loop where the initial value of k is 1, and we loop it as long as k is less than or equal to 10, and after every loop we increase k by 1. Compare the for loop to the while loop. Essentially, we are just rewriting it in a different way. So instead of initiating I equals to 1 here, we do it here. Instead of having a condition here, we have it here. Instead of increasing our counter value inside our loop, we do it here. And this is what we do on each step of the loop. Let me comment this and run this script. You can see that the output is the same. I'm going to do the second task using a for loop, but I will do it with no explanation. So try to figure out what I'm doing here. Let's use L for our variable. And on the side note, we need not initiate L here. We can initiate L outside of the loop and use it here. So if we initiate it as 0, doesn't matter because once the loop starts, L will always start with 1. Let's use M. L looks like the number 1. Remove this. I create a new variable called total2. So total2 equals to total2 plus M. Print total2. Alright. So this part is our for loop for summing between 1 to 10. Let's run it. $55, that's correct. To better understand loops, we need to practice. We will look at some practices after this lecture. But before that, let us look at this portion. I've included some links for you, some resources for you to read more about the for loop, the while loop, and this third type of loop, which we did not go through, called the do-while loop. So we will rarely use the do-while loop, but you can look at it in your own time.